Like to call the November 2012 County Commission meeting to order. First order of business, we have an invocation. Commissioner Brian Bethard, and leading us in the pledge is Commissioner Dwight Jones. Please stand.
May we pray? Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and for all your many blessings. Thank you for this time that we have to come together and discuss the direction of our county, a county that you have so richly blessed. We ask that you give us your guidance tonight. Please impart your wisdom upon each of us and guide our hearts as we make the decisions that affect the residents of Williamson County. We pray your continued blessings over our country. May you always watch over her and watch over those who defend her. And lastly, dear Heavenly Father, please be with those who went through Hurricane Sandy. Guide those families and those individuals as they begin to piece back their lives. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is roll call. If you'll push your present button and confirm. Travis not here. Record the roll, Ms. Andrews. Jeff?
22 present, 2 absent. Commissioner Hawkins and Commissioner Hester absent.
We've heard from Commissioner Hester, and she's unable to attend tonight, so. Moving on, next is approval of minutes of the October 8th, 2012 County Commission meeting. Copies were mailed to each commissioner. I'll entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Little and Commissioner Wilson the second. Any corrections or deletions to the minutes? Oh,
Thank you.
welcome, Commissioner Hall.
I recorded it.
Commissioner Hook?
Did you push your
I
button
got-
to speak? Did you push your button to speak?
I did.
Okay.
Push anything?
I'm here.
All right, if you're in favor of the minutes as presented, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? They're approved. Also, introduction and acceptance of the Highway Commission minutes. Commissioner Wilson, the motion. Commissioner Dwight Jones, the second. Any additions or deletions to those? I see none. All in favor of the Highway Commission minutes, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And they're passed. Okay. First thing we're going to do, we've got a big crowd tonight. We appreciate everybody coming out and watching us work, and we're glad that you're here. There's a lot of signs, and for security reasons and all, what I'd like for you to do, let's raise our signs now and show we can see who you're, the support, who you're with, and then let's don't raise them again just for, as we said, security reasons. Very good. Again, we're thankful you're here, and hope you enjoy it. The next item we have is citizens communication. We have 13 people signed up. Our rules call for a 15-minute time period be set aside. So we can do it one of two ways. If you've got several, I assume everybody's speaking on schools and things tonight. So if you've got several, say from Brentwood schools, if they want to select a person right quick to speak, then you'd have a maximum of 3 minutes. If not, each person have about a minute to speak. So however we want to do it, but we'll go ahead and start, and we'll start out Each person will have a minute. The first person is Mike Dennison. If you'll come forward and state your name and address, and we'll.
Good evening. My name is Mike Dennison. I reside at 5213 Country Club Drive, Brentwood, Tennessee. I'm the president of the Brentwood High School PTO. I want to thank you for this opportunity this evening to have an opportunity to speak to you. I appreciate the fact that you all make very difficult financial decisions for the citizens of this county each and every time that you get together. I'm here tonight asking you that our students be given the opportunity to learn at a school with identical facilities as the vast majority of our sister schools before we contemplate the construction of new facilities. Our current auxiliary gymnasium has a substandard floor and outdated lighting for the athletic teams it serves. In addition, it uses it for performing arts, not to mention testing, professional development, and community programming has been totally unsatisfactory for years due to an antiquated seating system, said lighting, and a multitude of other issues that have been addressed by the school board. Our staff, students,
Mr.
and
Dennison, excuse me, I'm sorry, but your minute's about up, if you can wrap it up.
Yes, I'm wrapping it up. Our staff, students, and administration have been forced to make compromise after compromise. You have the choice tonight to bring Brentwood High School up to the same standards as Ravenwood, Summit, FHS, and others. My son will graduate before work is even completed on this project. I ask you tonight to vote yes for those that will follow him, do what is fair, what is right, and what needs to be done. Vote yes tonight for the total package Dr. Looney and the school board have put before you. Thank you.
The next person is David Caldwell.
Yes, sir. My name is David Caldwell. I live at 324 Chatfield Court. Greetings and thank you for your time. As a 20-year citizen of Brentwood, I'm appreciative of the county. I'm appreciative of the low property taxes and our high county bond rating. I understand budgets, and for 25 years, I have both created and managed them. As I see it, the question tonight is one of budget prioritization. The current facilities at BHS are inadequate. BHS has no performing arts auditorium facility like the newer high schools. Skipping around. It's not fair or right for our students to practice and work so hard and then be expected to perform in such antiquated and inadequate facilities. Bottom line, the arts program is a vital part to our children's education experience, and the BH students deserve to have the same facilities and opportunities as the other county high schools. The school also is in desperate need of a facelift. I've spoken with many of you, and many of you have admitted that face to face. This would be a great first step in that direction. The band is currently searching
Mr.
for
Caldwell.
off-campus sites,
Mr. Caldwell.
such as I'm wrapping up, such as
Wrapping up.
churches, theaters, and Ravenwood High School itself to hold our annual holiday concert, as the facilities at the high school are inadequate for the boosters. In summary, we understand that you must deal with county growth. I think you've done an excellent job overall. You are the county stewards. BHS needs your stewardship, and I would ask that you vote yes for the total package. Thank you.
The next citizen, Nan Gurley.
I've been a Brentwood citizen for the past 27 years. I live at 1105 Brentwood Lane. I have a daughter at BHS and a daughter at BMS. I'm here on behalf also of the Performing Arts Center. I'd like to tell you that in every show for the last 10 years, the lights have gone on and off during the show because of faulty wiring in the lighting system, and the sound system buzzes every time the heating and air conditioning units go on and off in the Campbell Center. The curtains are dry rotted. There's a burn mark in the proscenium curtain from a fire 7 years ago. So there's some liability issues here. I also plead for BMS. There's no sprinkler system in the main building. We need more classrooms, but we can't add on until we have a sprinkler system. And the HVAC system, which was installed in the 70s, is woefully inefficient and cannot be updated without the sprinkler system. So I just want you to know we're very grateful that we live here and grateful that you're listening to our pleas tonight. And my daughter, my oldest daughter, who's in the theater production at BHS, said to me on the way over here, "Mom, I am all out insane for theater production." So I ask you to, as parents yourselves, to consider our kids who are finding their passion in high school, and we need the funding to help them realize their dreams. Thank you.
The next person is initial J. Ball.
Good evening. My name is Jay Ball. I live at 525 Dale Court in Franklin, Tennessee. My wife and I have lived there for the last 20 years, and I'm currently serving my third year as president of the Centennial High School Band Boosters. So it comes as no surprise to you tonight that I'm here asking for your vote in favor of the resolution to provide funding for an auditorium. You may have seen on the Franklin homepage recently an article, the headline of which was, "It's more than a theater." And it is more than a theater, because it not only provides funding for that, but it provides funding for the renovation of the multipurpose room that we have. I've recently realized that our multipurpose room is really more of a no-purpose room because it doesn't serve well as an auditorium and it doesn't serve well as an auxiliary gym. So this funding would provide the ability to build the auditorium as well as renovate the facilities of the gym. We have about 75% of our students at Centennial that are either in one of the athletics programs or in one of the arts programs. So you'll benefit 1,200 students at Centennial as well as the other students that are mentioned in the resolution. So I ask for your vote for the resolution because it is more than just a theater. It's also about our kids. Thank you very much.
The next person is Noah Syverson.
Good evening. My name is Noah Severson, and I reside at 20104 Crown Brook Circle, Franklin, Tennessee. I'm an 8th grader at Woodland Middle School and an active participant of competitive speech, drama, and chorus. I'm here to encourage you to consider the proposal for a theater for Woodland. The acoustics in the gym are not adequate for a theater or choral performance. The way we have to set up the speakers because of where the electrical plugs are located that only a portion of the audience can hear. When kids are up there performing, because of the way we have to position the speakers, there are times when even some of the kids who are performing can't hear each other's lines. Students hesitate to invite their grandparents because of the uncomfortable seating on bleachers and in the cafeteria where the stools are too small and have no back support. When we set the lights up, we've blown up fuses and tripped circuits to the point that this is probably a safety issue and maybe even a fire hazard. All the lights have to be moved in and out every time and then take up valuable space in a classroom. I'm also concerned that moving equipment in and out of the gym, rolling pianos, moving sound speakers and lights, stage equipment is damaging to the gym floor. Woodland has a great theater program, and I hope that future students can benefit from your support by voting for a new theater.
Noah, you did a good job. Margaret Hall.
Yes, ma'am. I am Margaret Hall. I'm the drama teacher at Woodland Middle School, and I live at 1061 Meandering Way in Franklin, Tennessee. So I'm also a taxpayer and a parent of 3 former students of the Williamson County Schools. I'm imploring you today to approve this budget item for the theater facilities for all the schools, especially for Woodland Middle School, which has no facility whatsoever. We have no gymnatorium, no cafetorium. All we have is a gym floor, and occasionally a cafeteria where we get to sit at the tables. I know I represent a group of passionate people, students, faculty, administration, parents, and community members who want you to approve this funding for our students so we can continue to strive for excellence in the arts as well as academics and athletics. We know that it would never be approved for a football team to play on a field that wasn't the right size or could accommodate all the football players, or nor do we expect them to practice and such. And it would be beneficial for all of us to be able to do the same with our performance facilities and performing arts. I do see that we've had a couple of times we have to fundraise to get all of these items in our gym, and we have had to discontinue our theater program of having a forensic speech and debate tournament because we don't have the proper facilities to host the one-act play competition. So I would like to once again thank you for listening to all of us speak, and I urge you to approve the funding item for theaters in the schools. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next person is Betty Lorderman.
Good evening. My name is Betty Lordeman. I live at 825 Woodburn Drive in Brentwood. My family and I moved here to Williamson County in 1998. Both of my children are graduates of Brentwood High School. I'm a former chairman of the Brentwood High School Academic Fine Arts Committee and am still an active and supportive volunteer at Brentwood High, serving as an assistant coach to their speech and debate team and a costumer of the school's drama productions. So needless to say, Brentwood High School and the faculty there are very dear to me. I just kind of want to take you back in time a little bit to 2003, when many fellow Brentwood High School parents also addressed the county commissioners and school board in an effort to draw attention to a very long list of serious concerns about the condition of the facilities at Brentwood High School, most prominently the multi-use facility known as the Campbell Center. That year, we were also one of several schools requesting funding to repair or replace facilities that pose serious safety hazards to students and faculty. At that same time, very extreme conditions at Franklin High School were also presented, along with their need for an entirely new campus. Subsequently, the committee determined that rebuilding Franklin High was the priority for funding at that time, and I still feel to this day that was a very wise decision. However, when that decision was announced, the board members very, very clearly stated at that time that Brentwood High School would be next in line. I believe those were the very exact words that came from the commission, for repairs, upgrading, and rebuilding of the facilities at Brentwood High with direct focus on the Campbell Center. That was 9 years ago, and a few repairs have been made at Brentwood High. But after 9 years, there still have been no relevant improvements made, nor even a reasonable
Lordeman.
solution
Time wrapping up.
found to address the conditions of the Campbell Center. Granted, they have made recent facility changes that are really not even a Band-Aid solution. And now the center is not even suitable for performances as it was back in 2003. It's less suitable than at that time. What we're asking for is no more than to have a safe, accessible facility of the same caliber as other schools in this district. Please vote yes for this amendment, or for this bill to pass. I think our children's future is dependent on it.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Nick, are you Linda?
Linda Young.
Linda Young?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank
Okay,
you.
good. All right.
Trying to save time here. I hope
Thank
you'll listen
you.
to everything I have to say because it is very important. Good evening to you all, and thank you for your time. My name is Linda Young. We moved here 3 years ago. We live at 9404 Dovefield Court. I have supported the performing arts in schools and communities for over 16 years. I am following in Betty Lordeman, who you just heard from's footstep, in being the costumer at Brentwood High School. We have a unique view of what goes on that stage. We don't just see it from the audience side, where you see excellent performances every time you come. We see it from the back. We see it from your children's perspective. And I have to tell you that I know you've heard of the need for seating and sound and lighting systems. But do you know that we have the talent to cast 30 to 45 students, plus 20 crew and makeup and costume members, and we cramp them into dressing rooms that are meant for 8 to 10 with a single restroom? I am a costumer. I'm supposed to bring thread and needle and beautiful costumes on hangers. I'm not supposed to bring ice packs and ace bandages, and I have to do that more and more because of the lack of space. I don't want to do that anymore. Time doesn't allow me to expand on the impact of the lack of a stage right wing, much less proper backstage facilities, an orchestra pit, and an orchestra with our children playing the music to our productions. We have excellence in everywhere, but this is not true in performing arts. You see excellence. You see that 50% that is provided by our outstanding teachers, Lisa Moody, Natalie Pratt, and Brittany Alexander. And I am so thankful for the perseverance and the make the best with what you have attitudes they demonstrate to our kids. But we have forced them to teach through a foggy glass with facilities that trap them to
Ms. Young.
create in a duct tape, chewing gum, and too often Band-Aid environment. I am sad that this class of 2013 will perform their last musical in a Campbell Center as it is, but I am hopeful and that you will hear our pleas and that future Bruins will experience performing arts at a level we can enjoy and that prepares them for what they're going to meet at the college and professional level. We're not asking for a Taj Mahal. We're asking for the basics. Thank you for being leaders who hear our pleas, listen, and care about our children.
We've got room for 2 more. So, and we've gone over the allotted time, but the next one I have on the list is Cindy Rodman? Rudman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Cindy Rodman. I live at 9544 Secretariat Lane in Brentwood. We're District 7. I'm here tonight as the co-president of the Brentwood Middle School PTO, and I'm here with lots of current and future BMS parents as well to tell you a little bit about our school. It's an amazing facility with great teachers and administrators, but it's 41 years old, and we need to make some changes. We have a sprinkler system in the new wing, but not in the original building, and without a sprinkler system, we cannot add any new classrooms or make any modifications to the existing building. And we also would like to enhance our safety program for our students and our staff in case of a fire. We also need an HVAC system. It dates back to 1971. Does not adequately heat and cool our building. The external classrooms are so cold that students frequently wear jackets to the class just to keep themselves comfortable. The internal classrooms are hot because the HVAC has to be turned up so high to try and push heat out there. So the kids joke about moving from the heater to the freezer as they move between classrooms. We also need additional classrooms. Our student body increased by 20% in the last 3 years. That's 200 students. We're going to increase by more than 30 more, we believe, next year. We have 7 teachers without a permanent classroom. We have students meeting in the teacher's lounge, in the cafeteria, and we had to eliminate our computer lab to make room for another classroom. We need space. We know that you guys have partnered with us, with the Williamson County Schools, to create a great system, and we appreciate that. And we ask that you vote yes tonight for Brentwood Middle School, Brentwood High School, and all of the other schools that are here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, are you about to call the end? Or if,
Yeah,
I would like
I was
to,
gonna listen
if
to
we
one
need
more.
to suspend the rules to make sure that each representative of each school gets to speak to this issue. If there are other members from other schools that would like to speak, I'd like to suspend the rules to give some more time for that.
Well, and that's a proper request.
Okay, that's a
If-
motion.
If we, unless we get 2 objections.
Okay, that's a motion.
We've gone over the 15 minutes.
Okay.
I was going to hear one more. Looking back here, I've got Brentwood Middle, the next one is a Fairview, Woodland, and a Fairview. So I mean, you want to hear a Fairview?
Definitely.
At least one of these schools will be represented. so.
Definitely, I want to hear one from Fairview.
Okay. I thought you did.
I did.
Uh,
Ask for this one or this one to come up, I guess.
Well, first of all, we've got a motion on the floor to suspend rules, but I'll jump over the list to get somebody Fairview. If you want
Okay.
to keep that
Okay.
motion, or do you want to withdraw that?
I'll withdraw the motion if we
Okay.
hear someone from
All right.
Fairview.
Well, the next one on the list is, that I have to speak to Fairview as requested, was Lindsay Seagroves. Seagroves, I'm sorry. You're on the spot.
Good evening. Thank you, Commissioner Jones, for your request. We were getting a little worried back there. I am here tonight to speak to you about the wonderful music students and theater students that we have at Fairview Middle School. My name is Lindsay Seagroves. I live at 1211 Houchin Drive here in Franklin, and I am one of the music directors at Fairview Middle School. We want you to know that over 1/3 of our student population at Fairview Middle is part of the band, chorus, and theater programs there. And we have far outgrown our current facilities. We currently, like Woodland, have no performance space whatsoever at our school, no stage for our students to perform on, no place for them to showcase their talents unless we move all of our equipment to Fairview High School, which has posed some problems in the past, including broken equipment during the move. So we're concerned about that. We also have very little room to grow, and we're growing a lot at Fairview. The band program alone has experienced a 40% growth in the past year alone, and we're running out of space. Our chorus meets in the cafeteria every day because they do not have a room that they can fit into, and we are excited about the prospect of a performance arts facility that would include classrooms so that our chorus could meet in an actual classroom and not a cafeteria. This would also benefit our high school greatly, as the theater department at the high school would have a more up-to-date, proper facility to showcase their wonderful musicals and plays that they put on each year. And so we're here with all the other schools tonight to ask that you vote yes and allow all of us, all of the schools here, a chance to showcase the talents of our students more appropriately. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jones, we good?
Good.
This concludes citizens' communications. Let's see, next we got communications and messages. We have two late file resolutions. They are on the agenda. The first one is 11/12/25. If there's no objections, we'll hear that in the order on the agenda. I see none, so we'll hear 11/12/25. And then the next one's 11/12/26. So if there's no objections, we'll hear those. So it looks good.
We're gonna wait and do this in January, but we do want to call Rogers up right now for Kenny Hill.
Oh, okay. Next, I'd like to call on Mayor Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and County Commissioners and all of the folks in the audience. We've had a little delay here, so we're going to skip over honoring one of the proclamations for the Martin Foundation. If she should come in a little bit later, we will do that. We'll move on. If you would allow me, though, Mr. Chairman, to call Kenny Hay up to the microphone along with Superintendent Mike Looney, if they would come up. 2 or 3 weeks ago, Kenny, come on up, you and Mike. 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had a very severe scare out in DePage Middle School and DePage High School, in which we had some issues with the gas product leaking from some of the pipes and some of the equipment that we had out there. We actually evacuated the schools to the Ag Center for the entire day. John's department, the transportation department, got all the children and the students safely out to the Ag Park. Kenny Wallace and his crew accommodated those students for the biggest part of the day. The school superintendent, the emergency management, all of us went into action to provide a solution for the problems that existed in that day. Atmos Energy, which services that area of the county out in the Page community, is represented by Kenny Hay. And Kenny called me shortly thereafter, and I would like for him to go into explaining what him and his company, Atmos Energy, is going to do for the Williamson County community and specifically the Williamson County schools. I would also indicate to you that in just a few minutes, Atmos has a group of people heading up to the New York area, New Jersey area to be servicing the Sandy victims. And so just as soon as he does this, he's got to catch a, he's got to get in his truck and drive and take some more equipment. So he's on the way. And Kenny, thanks for staying over this evening with us, and thanks for what you're about to do.
After we got everything under control at Page Middle School and Page High School that day, I was able to go home at night, and I was watching one of the TV stations, and I saw Dr. Looney was where the media had been interviewing him that day, and he made a statement that, you know, we probably just got to step up our preventative maintenance a little bit more. Well, you know, first I want to commend the men that work for the maintenance department. Dr. Looney, they do a fantastic job. They really do. What we're going to present to the school board tonight, to the school system, is a machine called Sensic Gold. This is one of the best machines for detecting natural gas and CO that's on the market. I mean, this is the best that we can buy. And what we want to do, we're going to present one of these machines to the school system where the maintenance man can go through all 42 schools, go through every piece of pipe, every piece of equipment, and if there's a fuzz leak or anything, this machine right here will pick it up. Also in the morning, we have 12 members of the county maintenance department coming to my office to receive training on this machine. We're going to provide the training. We're going to provide any maintenance that needs to be done on the machine. Once a month, it does have to be calibrated. If it breaks down, we'll give them another one and we'll get this one fixed. So, Dr. Looney, I want to present this to you, but I'm going to take it back with me because I got to leave it over for the meeting in the morning. But, thank you, Mayor and County Commissioners. See
thank
y'all
you.
next week. I'm
Thank
on my
you
way
for
to
your
New
support.
York.
Also, under communications and messages, we've got a resolution in our packet tonight to send to the state on Williamson Medical Center's certificate of need that they're doing for basically a wing of Vanderbilt Children's Hospital at that campus. When we came to get this filed in time, we didn't have a lot of people. I know there's a lot of commissioners that would like to sign on to that. We have a sheet that you could sign on, and we will make an amendment when that comes up and amend the resolution to include this. So if sometime during the meeting, if you'll get with me, if you haven't signed it and would like to sign it, let me know. Yeah, just raise your hand and Diane will bring it to you. The next thing, got a couple of guests here that I'd like to recognize that usually don't come by and see us. We've got a city commissioner from Fairview, Patty Carroll. Patty, if you'll stand, wave, or say hi. Thank you for coming. And also we got Brentwood City Commissioner Jill Bergen. And I apologize if I missed somebody, but there's a lot of faces out there, so that's good. So moving on, we've got reports of county offices. County Mayor Rogers Anderson.
This time I'll ask Nina to give you a snapshot of the county's financial picture as we have it through the month of October. Nina?
This evening in your packets, you'll find your month-end report through September. The revenues and expenditures are tracking well for this time of year. You also have your Cool Springs Marriott report. The County received $58,725.66 for the month of September. And your privilege tax report, you'll find that we're still tracking in a positive direction on those collections. Also have some good news to report to you. We were confirmed by Moody's for our AAA bond rating for the current refinancing that's coming up. That's all I have for the reports this evening.
Yeah, Commissioner Danner?
Hi, Nina.
Hi.
We already talked about this today, but so I kind of hate to. I'll apologize again for putting you on the hot seat. But tonight is about prioritization, and I know I called you today, and I learned some new information that I think that all the commissioners should know. We should all be in the same understanding, and all the parents that are here tonight need to know all the ramifications of some of the things that are on the table tonight. So I just want to walk through, and Nina, you just stop me and tell me if I'm wrong, off track, or over embellishing. But I asked Nina, what amount of money can we go out and borrow, that's buy bonds, add to our debt, in the next 12 months and not have to raise taxes next year, 2013, or 2014-15? And an amount that we could absorb with current debt service, in other words. We don't have to raise taxes. And she calculated in, this is a projection. I asked her to look into her budget crystal ball. And she calculated in the recent $4 million that we saved by refinancing some of our debt. And that number came to $31 million. So that's how much we can go out and borrow, buy bonds for, and not have to raise taxes in the next 12 months. So I just want to point out that tonight's theater ask is $16 million, which I greatly appreciate the school board going back and reducing it from 22. We have a new school on the horizon, which Dr. Looney, when you come up, if you could tell us when you're going to ask for the construction intent to fund. That's key. This timeline is becoming critical. And so together, if that construction request comes in the next 12 months, which in order to open the school in 2015, I would assume that you would need that money in 2013, that's $54 million. Again, $31 million is what we can afford without raising taxes. That does not include an emergency management facility that we voted on for design. We don't know what the scope of cost is for that project is. Could be anywhere from $6 million to $20 million. Those are the two numbers that were thrown out in that committee meeting. We have no idea what that cost is. We learned tonight in law enforcement that the sheriff's department, our jail is over capacity. We're going to need to add capacity in the near future. So I just want us to all have that understanding. Also, one other thing, and again, Dr. Looney, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard Commissioner Barnwell say this a couple years in a row, that the schools underspend their budget by $8 million and have for the last 5 years in a row. That's $8 million that they can do what they want to with. In the last 5 years, that's been the trend. So I just want us to all be on the same page and have the same information. That's all. Thanks, Nina.
I did get that figure from the 3 resolutions that the schools had requested, the intent to funds. That's where that dollar amount came from, adding those together. Also, there's a bond anticipation note that was funded in June of last year that will be added into the next bond issue. So that's also something to keep in mind.
Any other questions? Thank you, Nina.
Mr. Chairman, since the commissioner brought it up, let me go a little bit deeper into it than that. Several of you have called the very comments that the commissioner made, and I do want to point out some things to you that are strictly from a financial standpoint. I believe in the system of the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch also. But I need to call your attention to what you have voted on since March of this year. Nina and Commissioner Danner have made reference to it. In March of this year, you approved $6.7 million for bond anticipation. We borrowed money on a short-term basis we will go out to market and take that on a long-term basis. You heard tonight, Nina reported that we're refinancing some $30 million worth of bonds tomorrow. Late this afternoon, Sam's informed me that we've got a very good selection of people willing to buy those AAA bond paper. We're one of only two in this entire state of Tennessee that's got that AAA bond rating, and we were reconfirmed with that again last week, of which I'm very proud. We anticipate having some savings out of that. So you have approved already this year 6.7. If the project goes through as amended tonight, that would be 16.9. You've also approved $2.9 million for asphalt and roof, which I wish you would reconsider and look at that project, and we can hold off on the asphalt. The roofs do need to be repaired, I understand. You've also, for the people that are here in attendance tonight, the school budget, the operating side of the school budget, represents 64.7 cents, 76% of the entire funding that goes on in Williamson County. During the last census, this county is the fastest growing county in the state of Tennessee. All of you know that. The lady that spoke earlier tonight, I just happened to have some numbers here, and I went back and looked. In 2003, I believe the year she said, the total budget in 2003, just a few short years ago, was $224 million. The schools got $132 million of that. That represents 59% of the budget. Fast forward to what you approved in July of this year. The total budget was $397,952,000, an increase from $224,000. More than doubled, almost. Schools now are getting 64.76. That's why people move here. Our education is second to none. Dr. Looney oftentimes goes on the circuit, and I get the opportunity to hear him. I hear him in the halls a lot more than when he's on television. But the school board, under the direction of Pat Anderson and him, have created an atmosphere that people move here. Our enrollment numbers are down this year, but the year's not over. We're 3 months shy into it. You approved a budget last year for public education here in our county from $248 million to $257 million. That's $9 million more than they had the year before, and they had to pay that. You heard Leslie say that out of the fund balances. Tonight, the resolution that's been sponsored by Commissioner Langstrom is asking for, and it certainly can be pulled, for the $6 million on capital expenditures that you approved in July, and now that same body has come, the schools come back and said, would you finance that for us? The two committees have said, for you that have not been attending those committee meetings, the two committees have said, no, we're not going to finance that for you. If you want the money, you've got the money, you need to spend it. That's the way it was, that was the way it was designed. So you calculate all that out. I'm not saying we don't need the schools. I'm not saying that we can't afford it. Commissioner Danner is correct, though. There is a point and a line in the sand because we've had one tax increase in about 10 years. Our unincorporated tax rate is $231,100, one of the lowest in the entire Middle Tennessee area. We've enjoyed phenomenal growth, phenomenal schools, phenomenal quality of life issues. But you do have to pay for all that. We will retire during this year the equal amount to what you will approve, included the bond anticipation note. So we make no grounds up on that. But if our economy continues to grow, and Williamson County's economy is growing, I don't know where we stand on the sales tax at this particular time, but that does not, for the most part, go through you. What goes through you is the property tax. And what you have the control over is that property tax. If you all vote in the affirmative, which is fine, we'll handle it. I've talked to Ernie, the budget chairman. We can handle that. But at some point out there, if you come to me with a high school at Ravenwood for 40 million, and a K through 8 school in Ravenwood area, or in the Nolensville area, that's 30 million. And we're buying some more land down in the Spring Hill area, and we're looking at some more land, and we need all of that, but it does cost money. So on the heels of this, and the superintendent and I have had a conversation about this, they need to be mindful of what's coming down the road, just as you're being mindful of how you spend the taxpayers' money. The lady that spoke, I was here when we said those things about Brentwood. Many of you were here. We need a lot of things, but you need to prioritize them, and the schools need to help us do that also. I'll entertain any questions, Jay.
Any questions for the mayor? Commissioner Williams? No. Oh, I'm sorry. What?
Mayor
I'm sorry, Ernie. I misread the screen. Commissioner Langston?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have been asked by the school board chairman, or I'm sorry, the school director, to pull Resolution 111203 from our agenda, please. So I'd ask to be able to do that.
What resolution was that again? What number was that?
11-12-3, I think, $6 million.
And you're pulling that. All right. Commissioner Williams?
Mayor Anderson, if I understand what, and you and I have talked about this, we can take care of the $16.9 million for the renovations of these 2 schools, 3 or 4 schools. But after that, the pickings get slim. And that's a simple way to put it. And we'll have to raise taxes to do it. Would that be a fair statement?
I would say, Budget Chairman, that we can handle this tonight based on the economy, based on what you've approved. One of the things that was left off on that list, you've authorized a $5 million expenditure, which for the Nolensville Rec Center, of which Nolensville is going to pay half of the capital cost, and we'll pay half of that. We'll have to borrow $4 million for that. So we're at that threshold. But if the economy continues to do good, we'll be fine. I've had a conversation with Dr. Looney. He understands where we are at. I know Pat Anderson does where we're at. We really need to look hard at how many seats we can put in seats all across this county, and what is the best way to do that. We have to take care of our buildings. We have to do the maintenance on those things. That is just foolish for us not to protect the investment we've got here. But you're exactly right. There's a big but.
Thank you.
Commissioner Barnwell?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, and Dr. Looney's probably got to answer this question. The big push on this thing is if this Nolensville High School is pushed back a year, that frees up a lot of problems, doesn't it?
I would like Dr. Looney to answer that, but that sure would settle our stomachs a little bit.
Come on, Dr. Looney.
Good evening, and thank you for your question. I look forward to providing as much information as I can as you deliberate this important decision. As you know, the capital plan currently lists the opening date of the new high school in the fall of 2015. However, based on current year enrollment numbers, there is some reason to believe that we may need to revisit that in the next few months. I cannot at this time guarantee you that we won't need to open that school up in 2015, simply because as you travel through the county, you can see what I see, and that's housetops, construction, a lot of it. And as that continues to grow and increase in intensity, I believe that we'll have to adjust our numbers accordingly. I'd like the opportunity, I know that I'm going to get plenty of time to speak, but this is related to Mrs. Danner's comment, but equal to, on the same topic as yours, and that is, I think sometimes perhaps I don't do a good enough job of delineating the difference between an intent to fund, which is what's before you tonight, and the actual funding request. I think it's a fair statement to say that if you approve, even next year, an intent to fund for the Northeast High School, there is a great likelihood that we could adhere to the timeline, the funding timeline necessary to get the county over this hurdle. One of the things that I think we've done tremendously well is between the mayor's office and our CFO, Leslie Holman, we have massaged the actual allocation of dollars for these projects in a way that benefits all the stakeholders. So even with the requests before you tonight, just because, if I'm assuming, I shouldn't do that, I know, but I'm being positive, I'm assuming that if you approve this tonight, that we can work with Nina and borrow or get the money at a time that is most convenient for the county. And that likely will spread over both fiscal years, this year and next year. So there's a big difference between intent to fund and actually borrowing the money. The borrowing the money part, or giving us the money, we operate on the mayor's schedule, not the school system schedule. So I hope that addresses your question, Mr. Barnwell. I think it looks promising, long story short.
And that follow-up?
Yeah, follow up.
And that, to me, that gives a lot of credence that we can do this deal tonight and still have wiggle room in the future to handle that high school when it comes along, if it's delayed, if it's moved back a little bit.
Mr. Barnwell, that sounds like a motion to me. I'm not sure.
Commissioner Williams?
Yeah, for Dr. Looney.
Yes, sir, and happy birthday, by the way.
It's not there. Thank you. Same to you. And for people that doesn't know, that's Marine Corps birthday, November the 10th. They were 237 years old, November the 10th. Dr. Linda, you and I had some discussion the other night at the Budget Committee. And I think first of all, let me congratulate you for rallying all your troops. You did an excellent job in doing that, and I've never known to have received so many emails that I received. Was just inundated with emails. And so for all these people that understand how we kind of, in a broad sense of the word, we approved a $265 million school budget in July that was presented to us by the school board, did we not?
Yes, sir.
And that is approximately 2/3 of the entire county budget.
Yes, sir, that's an accurate statement.
Now, that leaves a third of the county budget for the sheriff's department, for the court system, for trustee's office, for public safety, for every other place that we fund out here, parks and recs, everything else. I mean, they get a third of that. You get 2/3. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Now, I had some numbers pulled. We have 62,000 homes in the county approximately, and there were 32,000 students in the county. And if you just do the numbers, you're looking at approximately probably 25% of the homes have students in the public school system. If you just split it 50-50, which is not realistic, because even most of the emails I got, people had either 2 or 3 children in the school system. So if you're looking at 25%, a few years ago before you came on board, we attempted a referendum on the wheel tax. I think it was $25, and that was going to add to it, and that money was going to be going directly to debt service to the schools. That would have generated about $4 million a year, as I understand it. That resolution failed. That referendum failed about 3-1, and that failed about percentage-wise from the 75% to the 25% people. Now, we don't ever hear from the 25% or the 75% people until we get ready to raise their taxes. And then we hear from that group. Now, the 25% are always pretty loud because it involves the school. And I've had kids go through the public school system. I've got grandkids in the public school system. I've got another grandkid coming into the public school system. So I'm not against kids, and I'm not ready to euthanize old people. So I'm just trying to, you know, I'm trying to make everybody understand that the need that we have and how the line that we have to walk out here. Not noticeable, we're calling it Northeast right now, but when it goes in, as I understand it, and by your admission the other day, that's going to cause another zoning issue because it's about 8 miles or so from Ravenwood. And we know how much heartburn that caused the last time all the zoning issues came up. So, and it may pull from Centennial, it may pull from Page, it may pull from wherever, you know. And Commissioner Hayes the other night said, and I agree with this, and that's the reason I'm in favor of the amended resolution tonight. But I think we need to take care of the older schools first before we start building new schools. But we need, as county commission, and I as the budget chairman, and I think the school board is trying to work with us. I know the gentleman, Rick Wimberly from my district, he and I have talked, and he couldn't be here tonight. He had to be out of town. But we need a lot of give and take, and it's not a wish list. Everybody has a wish list. If every department had a wish list out here, your taxes would be triple or quadruple out there. And we're trying to get along with everybody. And so I just want everybody to be cognizant of the problems that we have. And just like Commissioner Danner brought up, I mean, there's only so much we can do. Hopefully, privilege tax, sales tax, everything goes up and up and up. Now, I'm going to put you on the defensive here just a little bit. I want to warn you before you can get prepared. This resolution has been pulled. $6,041,500, or I'm sorry, $41,050. Now, we had some discussion the other night about that being paid from your fund balance. Correct?
Yes, sir.
And that you actually told us twice that it was going to be paid from your fund balance. Okay? Would you agree?
No, sir, I don't agree with that last statement, that we were directed to use our fund balance.
You told us you were going to use your fund balance.
The way that I recall it was that we submitted the capital request. The capital request was approved with the directive from this body to use our fund balance.
Okay. Let me ask this question.
Yes, sir.
When this resolution is pulled for $6 million, am I anticipating that it's going to pop up in a couple of months again, somewhere after the first of the year?
No, sir. With your permission, I'll explain what our intent is. I think the mayor said it very eloquently, and that is, we have 41 buildings and 6 million square feet of roof, 5,000 plus air filters that we change on a quarterly basis. We have a lot of building space, and we need to maintain that. The $6 million, the intent of that money was for preventive maintenance and to maintain the buildings. After we received the directive from you, we have been looking at the best way to solve the problem. The reality of it is this, and this is what I was trying to articulate in the 2 meetings. We have the fund balance to pay for those maintenance items. The challenge that we have, and I want to be very clear, is that if we use our fund balance for these projects, then we may very well not have the $9 million that we typically bring to the budget process to fund the budget. We're in the next couple of months going to go through the budgeting process again. And in this current budget, the school system used $9 million of its general purpose fund balance to fund the budget. And so if we use the $6 million that we have, then we likely will not have the $9 million. Now, so what the school board has authorized, or is we're discussing with the school board, is we will take the high priority items from the $6 million and do those projects. And frankly, kick the can down the road a little bit on the projects that are preventive maintenance, but we might be able to get by another year or two. So that's the plan moving forward.
Well,
So
that's
to
kinda
answer
what
your
I-
question is, I'm not coming back to you with a resolution for the $6 million or the $3 million that we'll have left over of unused projects.
So you're actually prioritizing your maintenance.
Well, I want to, yes, sir, we are, but we're reprioritizing our maintenance. So what happens in the budgeting process is just like any other budget process. We get requests from every department. We sit down with every department head and we say, this can wait, this can't. And then it goes through the budgeting process all the way to the school board and then ultimately you. So all those steps have been taken. And now we're going back and saying, well, we may not have all that money, so let's tick off number 1 from that list or number 2 from that list as far as we can go.
Now, the Northeast High School that's proposed, whether it goes 15 or 16, we can't open the high school in the middle of the year, can we? I mean, it has to be all opened in the fall.
I would not recommend that we open in the middle of the year.
And they start with freshman and sophomore classes.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And work their way up, And isn't there a set number of students that we have to provide for in the elementary schools if they reach a certain number, like 800, something like that, or in the back of my mind?
Yes, sir, generally 850, yes.
850, we have to build another school.
Yes, sir.
So, I just point these things out. I know you and I, we've talked about this, but since you've got your rally sport here, I think it's important that everybody understand what the process that we're having to do in trying to keep the tax rate down, and trying to make sure that we meet all the needs. And so I appreciate your candor.
Yes, sir.
Doctor.
And I want to make sure that no commissioner thinks that we perceive, and I say we plurally, I'm speaking for my staff and as a representative of the school board, we have no impression that you make this decision cavalierly or that you are non-responsive or don't care. We have always managed to work through issues as a district and as a county commission. I don't suspect that's going to change. I think, and you say I've routed the troops, and I guess in some respects I have, but I didn't call a single person and ask them to come. And I think the wonderful thing about this community is the parents that are here. We are great because our parents care and are supportive of our school system. And I'm glad to hear tonight that you can fund this request without increasing the tax burden on citizens. And I can assure you that should you see fit to fund these projects, we will make you proud. We will make this community proud of the quality of work that emanates from those buildings.
Let's get back on track. Mayor, we're still on your report.
Jack, I am ready to sit down.
Have a seat. Dr. Looney, it's time for your report.
Well, you may be surprised to learn, but we have a few items for your consideration tonight. And I do ask humbly on behalf of our teachers, our staff, our students in our community that you approve those requests. I have some good news to report. I'd like to share with you that most recently, the State Department of Education released the 2011 report card for each of the 136 school systems in the state. And as you likely have seen throughout media reports, your school system scored all A's in achievement. And ranked number 1 in 3 of 4 areas in the area of growth. And so we had 3 A's and 1 B in the area of growth. I want to share a statistic that is perhaps more startling than any other piece of data that I've seen since I've been here. I was looking at the disaggregated data, which is, as you know, the State Department holds us accountable on how our students with disabilities, students that are learning English for the first time, students that have hearing impairments, students that are from poverty homes, how those students do compared to the whole. And what I learned from looking at the data is that all of our students, including our disabled students, outperform the state aggregate performance. Now, I'm not a very emotional man, but that gives me goosebumps. To think that our disabled students outperform the all student group for the state is tremendous. So I'm very proud of our students, our teachers, and our parents, and that completes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. Next report, we have Don Webb, CEO, Williamson Medical Center.
Good evening.
Welcome.
How are you? I'm here tonight to provide a few pieces of information that I know we've made the announcement a month or so ago about a building project at the hospital. We didn't make too much of that at the time because we had to file an application with the state board in order to get approval. This is called a CON, a Certificate of Need. We filed that application on the 1st of October. They had that application and 30 days to review it, and before they would deem that complete, and we would then be given a hearing date. We were able to get that application approved in the month of October. We have a hearing date now on the 23rd of January. Along with that, we had to file some preliminary drawings of what this would look like, some cost estimates, some idea of how that might be funded, some schedule, and then again, we had to support the need for all of those things. And I wanted to give you some information tonight about what we reported in that application. Again, the hearing date will be on the 23rd. The CON board can approve the project as a whole, or they could split certain parts of that project out and only approve certain portions of it. That project is a combination of some renovations and additions to the inpatient surgery department at Williamson Medical Center, and also it's an addition on the west side of the hospital that would be a children's hospital. The first time that Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital has moved away from the downtown Vanderbilt campus and will be on campus at Williamson Medical Center. We're very proud of that, very pleased to announce that significant change from the conversations we've been having with Vanderbilt for several years about moving an annex out here, about having the same high quality that they have downtown and providing the same service that they have downtown. Additionally, the new construction, including the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital, is 115,000 square feet with about 37,000 of renovated square feet. The cost right now from preliminary drawings and preliminary estimates is about $65 million. The time frame to complete this project, we anticipate beginning late spring, early summer, if everything is approved and falls into place, would be about 4 years. We would have nearly 5 years from the state's perspective to complete the project, and we think it would take about 4 years. The cost for the equipment, for example, is about $8.2 million. These are very flexible numbers since we haven't completed the final drawings and are not ready really to have a firm number. When we are, that will come back to this group. The surgical suites would be, again, a gain of 2 additional suites, but all of the original surgery suites that are internal to the hospital, the inpatient suites, have never been renovated. These are the original suites from 1985 when the building was built. On the west side, we would have the Vanderbilt Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital. I think we gave everyone tonight a handout that looks something like this one that I am reading from. This is a rendering of what that facility would look like. It's pretty, obviously. It's on the west side of the hospital, adjacent to the current ER, would have its own entrance, its own waiting area, and be separate from the adult ER. Directly above that would be a 16-bed pediatric unit wing, and also on that floor, on the second floor there, would be some expansion of women's services at the medical center. Again, I need to go through a process with the CON board. When I get approval, which we do anticipate having in January, with the support that was referenced here earlier tonight and some support from other people within the community, and we're able to convince that board that there is a need for these OR suites and there's a need for Children's Hospital in Williamson County. We'll have that approval. I will then be able to produce detailed drawings, detailed schedules for construction start and stop dates, and from that, we would have some idea of what that total cost would be. The $65 million number is reasonably firm, and if possible, we'd like to reduce that somewhat. I would also, from that schedule, be able to come back and talk to this group about funding. What are those funding mechanisms? The medical center intends to fund a large portion of this through its own debt. But again, that debt there is a requirement in order to do that I come back through this process, so we will be back in providing that detail. I will answer questions if there are any.
Commissioner Danner?
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Webb, thank you for coming tonight, because I have 3 quick questions on this that I think are critical, and that people in this county, I'm getting a lot of calls, and a lot of people from the healthcare industry would like to understand this proposal. This resolution tonight, that doesn't have any money tied to it, that we're calling a CON. Is this a precursor to the resolution that, I guess, from what you're saying, you're going to come and ask to borrow $65 million from the county?
What we would do once we had, again, a firm number and a schedule, we could sit down then and produce a capital plan. The construction project itself would take 4 years. That schedule would allow the hospital to fund more of that than we could on the 1-year plan.
And
when I have that, then I'll be able to come back and ask the county for debt capacity, which the hospital would repay.
So the hospital or the county hospital, not Vanderbilt, the county hospital would pay the debt service on that $65 million, but it would be on the county's credit card, so to speak. We wouldn't make the
On the
payments.
county's debt capacity, but we would make the payments.
And so why wouldn't Vanderbilt borrow the money from a bank? Why do they need to come to the county taxpayers to borrow this money?
I don't know that we are borrowing any money just yet. When I do know, then we can answer those questions. But primarily, this children's hospital will belong to Williamson County and Williamson Medical Center. Vandy will not own anything. They won't own the property. They won't own anything.
And then how much is the Monroe Carroll, how much are they going to pay the county to have their name on our facility?
Again, none of those conversations have taken place. All we've gotten to so far is asking Vanderbilt over a 5-year period of time to move that brand out to Williamson County. That's as far as we've gotten in the conversations. Until I have the CON approval, we haven't gone too far in those conversations. I haven't gotten architectural drawings that are detailed because I don't want to spend the money for that unless we have the project approved. Questions?
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes, thank you very much. Don, I want to speak from the point of being a citizen that has used Williamson Medical Center recently. As a matter of fact, about 7 weeks ago. But anyway, wonderful experience there, but I have been there many times visiting or that type thing. I want to speak about Monroe Carroll. I had a granddaughter that was there and had to spend a week at Vanderbilt. And if you've ever been to a hospital and you have a very sick child, and she was a newborn, and I think knowing how this name all over the country, that this name of Vanderbilt Monroe Carroll is so very, very, very important, never, ever to be off the premise of where it is presently at Vanderbilt. I think for them to put their name on that is amazing. And we don't have enough pediatric facilities that can help our children. We just opened 840. I had an emergency with my youngest child over on the west side and could not get to the emergency room at Williamson Medical because I didn't have adequate roads. Finally, now that 840 is open, I have adequate roads. With the pediatric part of this, we had to go various places to have facial injuries fixed. My point is, this is needed. This is something very important. We take care of our children and education. Why can't we take care of, at Williamson Medical Center and fund something like this? I know times are tight. We're all feeling it. I'm a business owner. There are a lot of people out there. I just think this is one more aspect that we need to approve.
Any other questions? I see none. Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
All right. Any other department heads or committee reports at this time? I see none. Moving on. Elections and appointments. Beer Board Northeast Section, 3-year term expiring November of 2015. Term expiring Charlie Fox III. Nomination Charlie Fox III. Commissioner Hayes, Commissioner Smith, the second. Any other nominations? I hear none. All in favor of Charlie Fox signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And he's confirmed. Next item is a consent agenda, and the only thing on the consent agenda is the notary list. I'll entertain a motion. Commissioner Wilson, I'm sorry. The motion, Commissioner Chalafante, second. Next item, there's, is it on the machine? Okay, I'm sorry. Consent agenda's on the machine. If you're in favor, push your yes button. Stand by. Okay, now we can vote. If you're in favor, push the yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
23 yes, 0 no.
Consent agenda passes. Next item, we have several public hearings. We'll open the public hearing, and if anybody would like to speak, the first public hearing is on Resolution 11-12-6. That's a resolution of the Williamson County Board of Commissioners to adopt amendments to the 2013 Williamson County zoning ordinance originally adopted May 14th, 2012, regarding vacation rental home use amendments. So we'll open the public hearing at this time. If anyone would like to speak to this resolution, you have 3 minutes to speak. If you'll come up and state your name and address and for the record, and we'll open the public hearing at this time. Anyone like to speak? Last call. I don't see anybody jumping. So we'll close the public hearing at this time. Now, resolution of the Williamson County Board of Commissioners to adopt amendments to the 2013 Williamson County zoning ordinance originally adopted May 14, 2012, regarding vacational rental homes. I'll entertain a motion for approval. Commissioner Little, a second. Commissioner Smith. Is Mike Matheson here? And Christie's here too. I sponsored this, but I'll turn it over and Mike will let you explain it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Commissioners. Just real briefly, when we met with the Leapers Fork community this summer, to discuss with them the Leapers Fork Village District standards, which are also on your agenda this evening. It was pointed out to us by several citizens that the new zoning ordinance doesn't currently specifically list or doesn't specifically have a use category for the rental of one's home to tourists and other short-term guests. The zoning ordinance does list hotels and bed and breakfasts and retreats as similar uses, but not this particular circumstance of a vacation rental home. Feeling that that's an appropriate use in Leapers Fork, we have drafted an amendment that will allow vacation rental homes as a special use within the Leapers Fork Village District, and the Planning Commission has recommended approval of this as well.
All right, and yeah, I was going to say, Planning Commission was 6-4, 1 against. Commissioner Ryan?
If I may, real quick, the lone vote against, do you know why that vote was cast?
You know, Commissioner, I don't recall specifically why that was the case.
Okay.
I was there also, Commissioner Ryan, and I don't know.
Okay.
Any other questions? I see none. You ready? Oh, Commissioner Jones?
Mike, how does this pertain to the rest of the county, I guess? I mean, I know this one here particularly is for Leapers Fork Village. Is there any more zoning for the county, or do you see that in the future, I guess is what I'm asking?
Well, it could be. The Leapers Fork community specifically called this to our attention and requested that it be addressed. And we feel like, particularly in a tourist-oriented community like Leapers Fork, that this is an appropriate use. So we're going to start out by incorporating that use as a special use in the Leapers Fork Village District. And it may be in the future, particularly if there is a need or an interest in other places, that the ordinance could be amended to allow it in other districts as well.
Okay.
Commissioner Beathard?
Just a quick question. Will this resolution have these individual homes paying any kind of property, or I'm sorry, hotel tax?
I think that's a question for maybe the assessor's office. We would consider it a commercial use, a lodging use when it's a short-term rental to tourists and other short-term guests. I can't answer the direct question about the tax.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I see none. You ready to vote? Okay. We ready, Linda? If you're in favor of Resolution 11-12-6, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote. Jeff?
23 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Next public hearing we have is Resolution 11-12-7, resolution of the Williamson County Board of Commissioners to adopt amendments to the 2013 official zoning map originally adopted May 14, 2012, regarding a map correction. So again, we've got a public hearing. If you'd like to speak to this, please come forward. We'll give you 3 minutes and state your name and your address. So the public hearing is now open. I don't see anyone. Last call. So the public hearing's closed. Now, resolution of the Williamson County Board of Commissioners to adopt amendments to the 2013 official zoning map originally adopted May 14, 2012, regarding a map correction. I'll entertain a motion. Commissioner Little, Commissioner Brockman, the second. Again, Mike, would you like to speak to this?
Thank you again. In 1989, this property in question was rezoned from neighborhood commercial to suburban, but evidently the official zoning map was not changed at that time to reflect that rezoning. And so all those years, the zoning had been changed, but the map didn't reflect that. And so when we did the new zoning ordinance and therefore the new zoning maps, that error was inadvertently carried forward. So this is simply to correct that mapping error, and that's all this is. The property owner, of course, is aware that this is taking place and is in favor of correcting this mistake.
Any questions? I see none. You ready, Linda? If you're ready to vote, push your yes button and confirm. If you're opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
Chairman Jackson.
Is that me? Dang. Good help's hard to get. Jeff?
23 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 11-12-8, resolution to the Williamson County Board of Commissioners to adopt amendments to the 2013 Williamson County zoning ordinance and official zoning map originally adopted May 14, 2012 regarding the Leapers Fork Village zoning district. Again, this is a public hearing, so I'll remind everybody, if you'd like to address this, come forward and state your name and your address. So the public hearing is now open. Anyone wishing to speak to this public hearing? I see none. Last call. We'll close the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion to get Resolution 11-12-8 on the floor.
Second.
Commissioner Dwight Jones, Commissioner Brockman the second. Mike, you want to give an explanation?
Yes, sir. Last year, the Planning Commission unanimously adopted and you all unanimously endorsed a special area plan for the Leapers Fork Village. And that was a plan that was developed with a great deal of public participation by the community. The plan itself kind of articulates a vision for the future of Leapers Fork and establishes a set of goals and recommendations. So based on that plan, we have developed we've developed a zoning district specifically for the Leapers Fork Village and a set of standards that will apply to that community. We've also met with both the advisory committee a number of times and the community to discuss these standards.
Commissioner Danner?
We wrap up this last resolution. Mike, while I've got you up here, I just wanted to, there was a text amendment that I was hoping would be in this month's, but it's, I'm thinking hopefully January. It was the one that was pointed out by David Taylor in the meeting that we had regarding the allowance of conservation subdivisions in the hamlets. Is that a text correction that we'll have in January then? Text amendment?
I am aware that that has been a request, and my understanding is that that's something that the county will be working on for one of your future meetings. It's unrelated to this particular
Yeah, okay.
item.
But I just thought we were going to see it, but I guess it'll be later.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? I see none. You ready to vote, Linda? If you're in favor of Resolution 11-12-8, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
23 yes, 0 no.
All right. Moving on, Resolution 11-12-1, resolution appropriating $347,885 within the 2012-13 general purpose school operating budget for additional regular and/or special education teachers from undesignated fund balance. Commissioner Langston? Commissioner Smith, the second. School Board voted 10 yes, 0 no. Education Committee?
7-4, 0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4, 0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Langston.
It stated that it's a request for up to six additional teachers to be looked at to be hired during the course of the school years as needed, and 2, I believe, would go to special education, hiring almost immediately, I believe.
Any questions on this resolution? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 11-12-1, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button, and confirm.
Got it.
Bert? Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
23 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 11-12-2, resolution amending the 2012-13 general purpose school budget, $126,230.49 to reorganize SPED department to ensure compliance and efficiencies and increase certain line items for SPED services from state funds. Commissioner Langston?
Move approval.
Commissioner Barnwell, the second. School Board voted 10 yes, 0 no. Education Committee,
7-4, 0 against.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Langston.
This is additional funds needed. I think they're intended to maybe hire an additional teacher and person to oversee the special education department, and I would ask for your approval of that.
Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 11-12-2, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Okay. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
23 yes, 0 no.
All right. Resolution 11-12-4, resolution requesting an intent to fund the amount of $22,250,000 for the Williamson County Board of Education 2012-2013 new buildings, additions, and renovation capital needs. Commissioner Langston?
I'd move approval with the ability to add an amendment later.
All right. Commissioner Barnwell's the second. School Board voted 10-4, 0 against. Education Committee,
Voted 1-4, 0 against initially.
6 against.
6 against,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
okay.
What did I say?
Budget Committee,
0, 4, 5 against.
all right. Explanation, Commissioner Langston.
This is an issue that we discussed pretty thoroughly at both the Education and the Budget Committee. I do have an amendment that I'd like to propose at this time, if I could enter in this into the record and
Go ahead.
ask for approval, please. I move to amend Resolution 11-12-4 to reduce the total amount requested for the above noted projects to a total of $16,950,000, and for these funds to be spent on the projects as designated by the Board of Education. I'd like to move that.
Proper motion. Commissioner Bain, the second. Any discussion on the motion? Commissioner Ryan?
It does not regard the amendment on the floor, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we'll come back to you. Commissioner Ford?
On the full motion, please.
Okay. Any discussion on the amendment?
I got.
Have you got it loaded, Linda? Commissioner Williams?
Do we need to have in the motion that, on the amendment, that the expenditures are going to be set out at exactly what they're set for, this 16.9 here? Jeff, I put that question to you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the question was asked at budget as to whether or not you could tie the intent to fund to a specific project or not. Bobby's actually done more research on this, but the general answer is no, you approve the amount, and then it's up to the school board to use it for the capital projects. Your options, if you were to do that, would be if they were to come back and ask for this project again because they used it somewhere else, to deny the funding.
So if we,
It says right on there for the school board construction.
I understand that, but my question, do what? Okay. Go.
You good? Okay. All right, back to the amendment. You ready to vote on the amendment? It's loaded on the machine. If you're in favor of the amendment, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Didn't take, Arlene. There we go. All right. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
22 yes, 1 no.
All right. The amendment passes. Back to the main resolution as amended. Any discussion on that? Oh, okay. Brandon, Commissioner Ryan?
And thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I will try to be brief, considering that we've had quite a bit of discussion regarding this. For the folks that are here, which first of all, I think we'd all agree how much we appreciate everyone taking such involvement within the schools, within the county government. For everyone's information in here, this is the county's annual debt review for this year. Williamson County is approximately $500 million in debt. Our annual payment is approximately $50 million. It's a lot of money any way that you can cut it. I can tell you from having the opportunity to personally tour Centennial High School that these projects, they're all needed. It's not a wish list, and I think we've all heard that from the emails that we have received. And frankly, if it was up to me, we'd fund all of these projects and then some. The unfortunate fact of the matter is we have heard from the mayor, Commissioner Danner pointed this out, Commissioner Barnwell has noted regarding the high school coming in Nolensville. Unfortunately, the facts are that there's only so many pennies within the piggy bank. We can't afford everything that's laid out in front of us without additional tax revenue, in my opinion. I've had the opportunity to tour Centennial personally. Centennial needs this auditorium. They need this theater. I've also had an opportunity to sit and talk with folks, to go around and talk to people, certainly prior to this resolution. And I can't tell you how many times, and I imagine many of you have heard this as well, where we've heard from taxpayers that say, we want government to act like we do. We have to balance a checkbook every day. We want you to do the same thing. We want you to be adults. We want you to be good stewards of the people's money. You're going to have to make difficult decisions. We want representatives who will do that. Well, unfortunately, we're at that point, in my opinion. The school's budgets are $250 million annually. We support our schools. And Dr. Looney, y'all have done an outstanding job. I think we would all agree on that. But again, the fact of the matter is we can't afford what's before us. I would like to propose an additional amendment that we fund up to $8.7 million. That will allow, based on the school board's discretion, but in my opinion, it could fund the Brentwood Middle School HVAC and sprinkler project, and then a decision by the school board to either fund the Brentwood High School auditorium or the Centennial High School auditorium for this year. My personal opinion is I hope that Centennial is moved to the top of that list. If you'll take into consideration as well that with that $8.7 million, it's also been widely noted that the school board typically underspends its budget by about $8 million annually. 8.7 plus 8 million puts you right about at that number that's before us tonight. So I'd like to put that before as an amendment, Mr. Chairman.
Proper motion, is there a second? Second. Commissioner Danner is the second. Any discussion on the amendment? Commissioner Ford?
On the main motion.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna get to you. Commissioner Smith?
On the main motion.
On, Commissioner Ricky Jones?
On the main motion.
Okay. Commissioner Davis?
Main motion.
Okay. Commissioner Hayes? Commissioner Danner on the amendment?
I was my question to do the main motion, but since this amendment. I didn't know you were going to go there, but I think that I think this is a prudent move. I'm very concerned about our debt as well. I know, as Commissioner Williams mentioned earlier, there's another 75% of this county that does not have kids in the schools, and we have to be very aware of raising the debt and what it may do to our future tax implications. So I think this is very creative, and I commend your creativity, and I think that I would support this.
Any other discussion on the amendment on the floor? Commissioner Cook?
Yes, I'd like Dr. Looney to come forward, please. And would you tell me what the enrollment is for Brentwood Middle School?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the question. As of today, Brentwood Middle School has 1,231 students enrolled in it.
And what is the optimum classroom space for students in that building?
Yes, ma'am. The capacity for Brentwood Middle School is 1,105 students.
Which makes that the largest middle school and the smallest building.
Yes, ma'am. That would be an accurate statement.
Follow up, Commissioner Cook?
I don't see how we could take the addition of the classrooms out of this. In fact, I think it's the majority of the commissioners who want the entire 16.950 million.
If any other commissioner want to speak to the amendment on the floor? And we'll just cut there. If you do, raise your hand, because I've got several want to speak to the main motion. Commissioner Jones?
I mean, Dr. Looney, we can sit and make amendments all night long. The fact of the matter is, it gets down to what are you gonna build? I mean, we can say anything's a need. I'm concerned with auditoriums not being big enough. I've addressed that to you, addressed that to several different people. The fact of the matter is, if you build a middle school auditorium at what you build at Leapers Fork, Hillsborough, it's 260 seats. You've got 8 classes in the middle school level that can fit in that auditorium. So I'm concerned that these schools are not going to get what they need, much less what they want. You know, I understand Fairview's situation where the high school needs one, middle school needs one. You know, I hate to know that we're going to pick and choose who gets what. I mean, that's my concern. I want to know, you know, if we need to make an amendment for you to come back, if something don't get funded, that you got, if you're going to spend it somewhere else, you got to come back and ask. I'll do whatever. But I don't like the fact that we're going to pick and choose. Everything's a need in this county. It don't matter what school you got, it's all going to be a need. So, you know, that's my concern on what would be your priority on this.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your comments and your question. I'll speak first to the concern that you have about the size. The reality of it is we too are concerned. However, the board's goal is to establish equity across the school district. And when we look at, as an example, the high school performing arts centers or auditoriums, there is no high school in this district that can seat even 50% of their student body. So typically, we're seating about 1/4 of the student body at any one given time. And to make sure that we address the issue of equity, we thought it most prudent not to build a facility that seats all students, but that one that seats students proportionally to what the balance of the schools do. It would certainly be a wonderful added benefit to be able to seat all students at one time. I don't think, honestly, based on my conversations with you over the last 3 years, that that's a reasonable request. I also understand and respect the fact that taxpayer dollars are precious, and we need to do as much as we humanly can with the few dollars that we have. So I can report to you tonight with certainty that the size of the auditoriums that we're proposing would adequately meet the needs of all of our schools. It would give our young men and women a venue to show off their marvelous talents with the community and the broader world. Is it perfect? No, but our task, I think, is to give adequate facilities and nothing more.
If you may, Chairman, maybe you misunderstood what I was saying. Of your student enrollment in the middle school levels, you've got 260 seats at Hillsborough.
Yes, sir.
Each class, there's 8 out of your middle school numbers that'll fit in that auditorium. That's what I'm saying. So if you take one class, one grade level, whichever middle school you pick, there's only 8 out of all our middle schools, 8 classes, 8 grades that'll fit in there. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yes, sir, it does. It does.
So I'm not saying put 2 classes in there. I'm
Yes.
saying put one grade level in there.
Yes, sir, I understand.
Any other questions on the amendment, Commissioner Salafont?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm the only one that voted in favor of the full 22 million. I think this amendment is absurd.
Commissioner Bain?
I'd like to call the question on this amendment.
All right. Question's been called. Do we have the amendment loaded? If you're in favor of,
Calling the question.
yeah, I'm sorry. If you're in favor of calling the question, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're ready to vote on the amendment. It's loaded on the machine. And let's see, we're voting to amend Resolution 11-12-4 to $8.7 million. Is that correct, Commissioner Ryan? Yes, yes. If you're in favor of that, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Okay. We good, Ernie? Anyone wishing to change? Record the vote, Jeff.
4 yes, 19 no.
The amendment fails. We're back on the main resolution as amended. Commissioner Ford?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. We have had a lot of discussion about this through various committees, and I will be brief. We've heard a lot about things that are bad in our schools tonight. We've heard about lack, and I'd like to focus on some good things in our schools. I think seeing everybody out here tonight is a good thing. It shows the passion that our parents have for our school system. I'd like to point out that we do have an amendment. We asked the school board to go back and reconsider. We asked Dr. Lunar to go back and do some prioritization, and I believe that's what they've done here. We're often asked to run government like a business. Well, I'd like to point out a couple of things. One, 2 weeks ago, the Brentwood High School boys cross country team won the state championship. And in the same, woohoo, go Bruins. And in the same day, the girls soccer team won the state championship. The night before, the Ravenwood volleyball team girls won the state championship, beat Brentwood. Come on, guys. It was a great match, 5 games. And Centennial was in the football playoffs and advanced in the football playoffs, had a great year. The Brentwood High, we'd invite everybody out to Brentwood High next Friday night to see the quarterfinal game.
Brentwood High is the last remaining school in the football championships, and we anticipate doing that. Everybody sees the sports thing. Some of the things you don't see. The Brentwood High School band was at the Grand National Championships this past weekend, performing in Indianapolis. One of the things that I was always taught in business is you invest in winners. We have to choose priorities, and I believe in investing in a winner, and that's how I'm going to vote tonight.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes, I'd like to speak in support of this resolution as amended. I know it covers a number of schools, but I'm going to direct my comments specifically to Centennial. Centennial is where predominantly the kids in my district and Coach Langston's district go to school. I want to commend our school board member, Vicki Vogt, for her work on the school board. She does a great job keeping us informed. My family and I were involved in Centennial since before it opened and had 3 kids go through there, helped start the sports booster program. This facility that's being proposed really has a ripple effect among all of the programs that need space and need time after school. It's not just sports related or not just arts related. It affects so many of the school activities, and I would like to ask for your support. Thanks.
Commissioner Hayes?
I have a question for Dr. Looney. How firm are these numbers, Dr. Looney? Did you have someone to really evaluate and find that the money you're requesting here will do the jobs? I realize the bids have not gone out, but is it a pretty firm estimate?
Yes, ma'am, we feel really good about the forecasted allotments.
So you think all the safety issues and the crowded issues and the heating air can be remedied?
I feel particularly good about the estimates for the HVAC system and the sprinkler. We actually had an estimate on that at one point in time, so I feel really, really good about that. The 2 middle school performing arts centers, we have recent experience with that exact facility at Hillsborough, so there's no reason to believe that those numbers are wrong. And we currently have an architect that's already begun work on the Centennial project, so we feel good about that. And essentially, Brentwood is a replication of that, so we feel like the numbers are pretty solid.
Good. As I said in budget, I do think that we need to work on our existing schools before we start building new schools, and I do support that. And I felt like with even the other amendment, if we went and got started on that, we could always come back for the finish. But I am going to support this amended resolution because I feel like that it's something that we can trust y'all to go ahead and get done, and it can benefit of all of our kids.
Thank you, ma'am.
Commissioner Ricky Jones?
Yes, I am supporting this amendment, but I do want to ask about, you said equity. How many high schools will, after this, if this passes, will be left without theaters and performing arts centers?
Mr. Jones, I'm disappointed to report to you just one, and that will be Fairview.
How many middle schools will have performing arts centers?
Assuming you approve this tonight, there will be 4 middle schools remaining that do not have performing arts centers. Those will be Page, Heritage, Grassland Middle, and Sunset Middle.
Okay, thank you.
Follow up? Rick?
No.
You're good? Okay. Commissioner Davis?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Earlier this evening, we heard a very quick litany from several different speakers about upcoming budget concerns, things we've already approved that we're going to have to pay for, and a litany of things that are coming forward in the future. One I didn't hear very clearly, though, so I wanted to bring that out, is the school budget will likely go up every year without any capital projects. I'm guessing 10 million a year. That's just a guess, and that's a hopeful guess, that'll be the request, that it'll be only 10 million. So that's a $20 million addition over 2 years to what we're also talking about. So I just wanted to make that point. That said, I'm still supporting this amendment tonight, because, as you heard from many other people, we need to take care of what we have. And that's the thing that keeps me up at night. We have 41 buildings out there that are going to need a lot more things. This isn't the end of it. All those buildings opened in the last 10 years will need new roofs and that type of thing, new HVAC systems in coming years. But I wanted to make one other point. I'm supporting this, but we are going to run into a budget cliff eventually on this. So I'm not necessarily promising to support the next new school that comes down the pike. We may have to put that off to take care of the current schools that we already have. And I'm willing to make that decision to do that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Commissioner Barnwell? Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Langston. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also support this amendment, and I think the members of this commission take their judicial responsibilities very seriously. I don't think there's a time that we have a meeting or something comes before the Education Committee or any other committee that we don't try to consult with those that give us the information and try to make decisions based on that information. I'm making that decision tonight based on what I've heard. I've told people that are my constituents how I will vote on this issue, and that depends entirely on what it does to our bonded indebtedness. I've had the information given to me that I think we can do these projects and move forward. I don't promise I'll vote for any other thing in regard to capital improvements. I probably will, but it will be things that I think are very needed. But I think these are things that I've said, and I just want to emphasize this, beginning last year at an Education Committee meeting, said our existing schools must be upgraded and taken care of before we look at building other schools, and I stand by that.
Commissioner Barnwell?
Call the question.
Question's been called. Commissioner Williams, the second. All in favor of calling the question signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So question's been called. So you got it loaded as amended? If you're in favor of Resolution 11-12-4, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's there.
We're ready? Got ahead of myself. If you're in favor, push the yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
21 yes, 2 no.
We're going to take about a 10-minute break. Yes.
Commissioner Cook and I have been working very hard on a school board replacement. As you know, that school board member Lee plans to resign. We've been interviewing, we've been talking to a lot of people, and we plan to bring that name in January.
Okay. Thank you. We'll call the meeting back to order. Next on the agenda is Resolution 11-12-5. Okay. I'll take my time. Resolution requesting an intent to fund in the amount of $2,940,000 for the Williamson County Board of Education 2012-13 major asphalt and roofing capital needs. Commissioner
Move approval.
Langston? Second. Commissioner Smith, the second. School board voted 10-4, 0 against. Education,
5-4, 2 against.
budget,
5-4, 0 against.
explanation.
This
Commissioner
was presented to the Education Committee as needs, both in asphalt and for roofing, but I believe we may have an amendment coming up.
Mr. Chairman, I got an amendment.
Okay. Commissioner Williams?
And Dr. Lenny White, if you appreciate you staying there at the podium. I'd like to move, first of all, let me ask you a question, Dr. Lenny. I'm referring back to a comment that Mayor Anderson said earlier in the evening, that he said that he would like to see the asphalt paving projects pulled out of this amendment and go forward on the roof replacements. Can you live with that?
Is this on? The mayor and I have had that conversation. Obviously, we would like to get the asphalt done, but certainly the roof replacements take priority, and we would be in a position to work with the county commission if you saw fit to approve the roofs.
Thank you. My motion would move to amend to strike the asphalt paving amount in $895,000 and go forward with the $1,530,000 on the roof replacement.
Second.
If I can correct you, Commissioner Williams, that would be 355,000 plus the 895.
Well, actually, no, I'm pulling out both of them, rural debt and general debt.
Yes, correct. So
it'll be, the asphalt paving out of the rural debt will be $355,000 and the general debt will be $895,000.
okay. Proper motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Langston, second. Right. So the new total would be, give me a minute. Oh, it's on the board? Okay, good. Thanks, Linda. Better than my math. Okay. Anyone, Commissioner Commissioner Langston, did you want to speak? Okay, Commissioner Ryan on the amendment.
Yes, sir. And this question would be for either the mayor or Ms. Graham. I know that beforehand, we were talking about the previous resolution, that the only way that we could fund that is through debt. Is there any way we can fund, now that this is a more workable number? Is there any other way to fund that other than debt?
You want me to finish that? No, sir. I apologize.
Commissioner, we really haven't sat down and looked at any other way. As you know, you've approved the 16.9 number tonight. You've approved 6.7 on the refinancing, on the anticipated bonds that we've done. We'll probably package all of that come springtime, late springtime, and try to get that together. We can look at it, but I'll make you no promise for the roofs that are needed. The roofs normally, the way we like to do the things, most of the roofs are going to last 10 years, 15 years, and Kevin does a great job of keeping our schools up to date on that. But if it was something like $1 million for 5 years, then I might have an argument with it. But in their long term like that, it may be our best. I'll know a little bit more tomorrow. When we do the refinancing, we'll know what kind of interest rates we've got. So I appreciate y'all looking at taking the asphalt out, but they do need the roofs. Give us the flexibility on that, what we can do.
Yes, sir. Follow up, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Thank you, Commissioner Ryan. Okay.
Just as a point of clarification regarding, I was one of the 2 votes against on the Education Committee, and that was regarding, again, the underspending of the school's budget by approximately $8 million for 5 years in a row, just to kind of explain the rationale behind that no vote. Thank you.
Any other discussions on the amendment? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of the amendment, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
22 yes, 1 no.
So we're back to the resolution as amended, 11-12-5. Any discussion on the main resolution as amended? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of resolution 11-12-5, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
20 yes, 3 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 11-12-9, resolution establishing the salary for the juvenile court judge for Williamson County effective January 2013 and appropriating and amending the 2012-13 juvenile services budget by $20,000, revenues to come from unappropriated county general funds. Commissioner Williams?
Move for approval.
HR Committee?
4 yes, 0
All right, Law Enforcement Committee?
5 yes, 0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
I want to bring to everybody's attention, under the expenditures line item, there's a typo where it says salary judges, and then it parentheses 101.54240 point, and it should be 102. So we'll make that correction, and it's just a typographical error. Explanation, Commissioner Williams.
This is the salary for the juvenile court judge that will go into effect January the 1st and bring the salary to $140,000, $4.80. This came from HR on a recommendation, and I understand from Mike that he made this recommendation. This was an amount that had been discussed after he checked with other counties around Williamson County, and this was one they recommended.
All right, any discussion? Commissioner Danner?
Well, I was just going to, if Doug needed me to any explanation from the HR committee, he wasn't there and I'm the vice chair.
Okay.
So, well, I was just going to add, can I add, since I was there?
Okay.
I voted twice for this. However, I want to just point out and make sure that we review this again in 1 year. I think that was brought up at HR. There's a point to be made that even though I did vote yes for this in 2 different committees, I am slightly uncomfortable with the fact that she is being paid less than the other 2 judges. And so it's sort of a starting salary, and that we would review this in a year.
Okay. Commissioner Hancock, had you requested to speak? Oh, okay. Oh, no, I thought you were lit up here on the machine. Didn't know how else to explain it. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of resolution 11-12-9, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
23 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 11-12-13, resolution appropriating and amending the 2012-13 Parks and Recreation budget by $4,900, revenues to come from donations. Commissioner Davis?
Move for approval.
Second.
Proper motion, Commissioner Chalfant, second. Parks and Rec Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Davis.
This is donations from various community organizations to Parks and Rec for hiring umpires and doing scheduling.
Very good. Any questions? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 11, 12, 13, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
23 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 11, 12, 14, resolution appropriating and amending the 2012-13 Parks and Recreation budget by $1,250, revenues to come from donations. Commissioner Davis?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Cook, the second. Parks and Rec Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Davis.
This is a donation from Darrell Waltrip, Honda, regarding the Parks and Rec Department Craft Bazaar and Car Show.
All right. Any questions? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 11, 12, 14, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Travis? Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
23 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 11, 12, 15. Resolution appropriating and amending the 2012-13 general sessions budget by $2,030, revenues to come from probation fees. Commissioner Hancock?
Move for approval.
Proper motion. Commissioner Wilson, the second. Law Enforcement Committee?
5 in favor, 0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Hancock.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is just to put some more money in the drug testing budget line, and the funds will come from probation and fees. They run a little short there.
All right. Any discussion? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 11, 12, 15, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote? Do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
23 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 11, 12, 16, resolution accepting a donation of $50,000 from the Martin Foundation for equipment, uniforms, and training. Commissioner Hancock?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Jones, the second. Law Enforcement Committee?
5 in favor, 0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Hancock.
Mr. Chairman, this is pretty straightforward. It's a donation from the Martin Foundation of $50,000 that'll be used for uniforms and equipment for the Sheriff's Department, and also some training.
All right. Any discussion? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 11, 12, 16, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
23 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 11, 12, 19, resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to enter into a grant agreement with the American Society of Prevention of Cruelty to Animals and appropriating and amending the 2012-13 animal control budget by $2,500. Commissioner Beathard, is that you? Commissioner Hayes, the second. Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Beathard.
This one didn't come before us, I don't believe. It went straight to budget. So I guess if Ernie, I'll defer to Ernie, Commissioner Williams on this one.
Well, I didn't sign it, but I think it looks like me like it's self-explanatory because it's
It's a grant.
If anybody wants to be cruel to animals, then vote no, otherwise vote yes.
Commissioner Hayes, can you top that?
It's going to be hard to top. Mark is here from Williamson County Animal Control and Adoption to answer any questions, but simply this is a grant from Sabario for an activity where they're hosting a Share the Love Shelter dealership animal adoption event, and they're paying the price, and we're taking the animals out and having an adoption event. If you have any questions, Mark is here to answer, but it's at no expense of ours, and hopefully some forever homes will be reached because of it.
All right. Any discussion, questions? I see none. If you're in favor of animals, push the yes button and confirm. If you're not, push your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
23 yes, 0 no.
Resolution 11-12-21, resolution appropriating and amending the 2012-13 solid waste sanitation budget by $12,600 for expenses related to the Living Green Expo revenue to come from rentals and sponsorship fees.
Move
Commissioner
approval.
Hayes?
Move approval.
Proper motion.
Second.
Commissioner Cook, the second. Solid Waste Board,
5-4, 0 against.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Hayes.
If you remember, several months back, we came and asked for money to go ahead and make some rentals regarding our Living Green Expo, telling you at that time there would be some rentals and sponsorships, and the money would come back to you. We're simply giving the money back and putting it back in the pot that we borrowed from, so as a result of our Living Green Expo.
Very good. Any questions? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 11-12-21, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff. Is that, oh,
23 yes,
There we
0
go.
no.
Late file resolution 11-12-25, resolution of authorizing the county mayor to enter into a contractual agreement with the state of Tennessee Department of Transportation for a highway safety grant for the Comet demonstration project and appropriating and amending the 2012-13 Sheriff's Department budget by $10,000, revenues to come from state grant fees. Commissioner Hancock?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Chalifant, the second. Law Enforcement Committee,
6 in favor, 0 against.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Hancock.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this is Tennessee Department of Transportation's Governor's Highway Safety Grant, and it'll be used to train to improve skills and knowledge, including crash investigation and reduce speeding, aggressive driving, most of the bad things we don't want people to do.
All right. Any questions? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 11-12-25, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
23 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 11-12-10, resolution declaring certain equipment as surplus property and authorizing the sale of the equipment. Commissioner Hayes?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Wilson, the second. Solid Waste Board,
5-4, 0 against.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Hayes.
Yes, the Solid Waste Department has a Mack roll-off truck that, as you well know, when we get through with them, there's not much left. But we do propose to put this in the large equipment auction, which is better than just our regular county surplus auction. And if nothing more, we get more money usually from the scrap metal or the large, or the selling of parts from someone. So that's simply what this does.
Okay. Any questions? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 11-12-10, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
23 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 11-1211, resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to execute a sponsorship agreement with Dick's Sporting Goods. Commissioner Davis?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Green, the second. Parks and Rec Committee,
5-4, 0 against.
Property Committee,
Property 4-4-0 against.
Budget Committee.
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Davis.
This will allow the Parks and Rec Department to collect $900 from Dick's Sporting Goods to hang a banner in the gymnasium. Our legal beagles say we have to do it this way, that we have to approve that. I'm all for it.
That sounds good to me. Any questions? Anyone, if you're ready to vote, 11, 12, 11. If you're in favor, push the yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
23 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 11-12-12, resolution authorizing the county mayor to execute a rental agreement with Rolling Hills Community Church for use of their auditorium for holiday dance recital. Commissioner Davis?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Little, the second. Parks and Rec Committee?
5-4, 0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Davis.
The resolution kind of speaks for itself. The Parks is having a kids' holiday dance recital. They needed a place to have it, and Rolling Hills Church is stepping up to the plate and letting them have it there. So we're having to lease it.
Very good. Commissioner Ryan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick ticky-tacky question for Mr. Hood. How much is the lease agreement for? Do we know?
I think it's 3,500. We're covering the expenses are all covered.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You ready to vote? Resolution 11-12-12. If you're in favor, push the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote? Commissioner Langston? Good. There we go. Record the vote, Jeff.
23 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 11-12-17, resolution to adopt the amended Williamson County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan and authorize the county mayor to sign the letter agreement. Commissioner Hancock?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Jones, second. Dwight Jones. Law Enforcement Committee?
6 in favor, 0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Hancock.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is authorizing the emergency management people to adopt a multi-hazard mitigation plan to present to the federal government so it'll qualify us for certain funds that are, grants that are available during the year if we have need for them. Has to be, they present it to them, it has to be approved by them.
Okay. Any questions? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 11-12-17, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
23 yes, 0 no.
Resolution 11-12-18, resolution authorizing the county mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding with the city of Spring Hill concerning operation of sirens as part of an outdoor warning system. Commissioner Hancock?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Hayes, the second. Law Enforcement
6 in favor, 0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Hancock.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this allows us to coordinate, the county to coordinate the sirens, hazardous weather and other event sirens with the Spring Hill. I happened to be down there doing an event a few months back, and very confusing. They go off, no rhyme or reason to them whatsoever. You think it's an all clear, and then you get another, and so this will allow them to coordinate the two.
Okay. Any questions? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 111218, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Steve? Yep. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
23 yes, 0 no.
Resolution 111220, resolution to support a proposal by Williamson Medical Center for an expansion project to include pediatric services. Commissioner Smith?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Chalfant, second. Explanation, Commissioner Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The chairman asked me to speak to this. It did come out from the county mayor's office, but I'm glad to do this. This is simply a request for a resolution of support by this body. It does not ask for any funding or intent to fund or any other detail. This is a project, as you heard Don describe earlier, that in conjunction with Vanderbilt, Williamson Medical Center would have a pediatric service, including inpatient beds and emergency department, operated by, not owned by, operated by Monroe Carroll Children's Hospital. It would also involve additions and improvements to our inpatient surgical suites that would allow us to generate additional revenue at the hospital. And but the really exciting thing for our community, I think, is the opportunity for pediatric service. And I'll paraphrase Commissioner Williams: if you're in favor of the children, please vote for it. If you're not, vote against it. So I'll entertain any questions.
Okay. Commissioner Bain?
Mr. Chairman, yeah, I'd like to make an amendment. Be it therefore resolved, further resolved, that the following county commissioners desire to express their support for Williamson Medical Center's application to expand its healthcare services by signing as co-sponsors on the signature lines provided below.
All right. Proper motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Chalfant, second.
That's the additional signatures there.
Oh, okay. So you got it loaded on the machine? Any, Commissioner Danner? Oh, okay. You ready to vote on the amendment? If you're in favor of the amendment, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Huh? Anyone wish to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
21 yes, 1 no, 1 abstain.
All right, we're back to the main resolution. The resolution 111220 as amended. Commissioner Danner?
Thank you, Chairman. I want to speak for the few of us that probably don't support this. We represent a lot of people in this county, though. This resolution, I know it doesn't have any funding, but it definitely feels like a precursor to a very large potential financial ask. And even though it's been made clear to me that the county hospital would pay the debt service on that ask and not us, there's still a lot of concern in the community over this whole transaction. I could not support any of this transaction, and it has nothing to do with my feelings towards Vanderbilt or the feelings, and I speak for all the people I represent on this, or the Monroe Carroll name. It doesn't speak to the fact that there may or may not be a need for a children's hospital in that area. There's no spirit of offense to any of my fellow commissioners who support this and have a passion and a heart for health care for this county. It has to do with the funding. It has to do with where it would come from and why it would come from this county. Why it wouldn't just be borrowed from a regular bank. Why it would be put on the shoulders of our taxpayers. It feels like, to a lot of people, a slow and premeditated takeover of our county asset by Vanderbilt Hospital. A lot of people in this county are taking offense to that. why wouldn't we put it out to bid? Why would we just slowly let Vanderbilt take over? I've had, and I know other commissioners have had physicians at our county hospital say that Vanderbilt doctors are taking their patients. I'm curious to see this unfold, but it feels to me, like a slow, premeditated takeover of our county asset, and I just can't support it.
Commissioner Hancock?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I plan to support this. Where could we sign that resolution at when we approve it?
Diane's got it.
Okay.
Chairman, this did go through the budget committee, passed 5-4-0 against.
Okay. Oh, okay, thank you, I missed that. And you would like to sign it, Commissioner Hancock?
Absolutely.
Okay. Commissioner Barnwell?
Yes, while I'm for the children, I'm sort of against government being involved with healthcare, and this is just an expansion of our government and healthcare. And what I see and what I read about this is that all the rewards are going to go to Vanderbilt, and at the end of the day, all the risks are going to be with the county taxpayers if this project fails. So that's why I cannot support this.
All right. Commissioner Smith?
Just as far as some of the comments made involving the alliance or the strategic alliance or affiliation agreement with Vanderbilt that was announced a little over a year ago, that is something that was studied and deliberated over for months and months. What you see happening around the country involving for-profit or not-for-profit or governmental hospitals everywhere around the country are that they are grouping together in ways that they can better serve the populations that they are dedicated to serving. The Board of Trustees at Williamson explored a number of alternatives, but concluded that the best partner, if you will, to affiliate with was Vanderbilt, which also the group includes Cookeville, Murray Regional, Northcrest, and there will be other hospitals affiliating in the future. Part of this is just the natural direction of healthcare and the search for quality of care and the proper provision of care in the right facilities. And the ultimate goal is for people to have their treatment done at the right facility at the highest quality possible and most efficiently and lowest cost. We feel like over time that's going to result in additional patient volumes at Williamson. So I think this is not something that has just crept up on anybody. It was there's been quite a bit of deliberate thought put into this arrangement, and we think that it will ultimately benefit the citizens of our community. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Any other discussion, questions? I see none. You ready to vote? Oh. Commissioner Ryan?
Yeah, quick question for Commissioner Smith, and excuse my ignorance on this. Certificate of need, is that a governmental, can you kind of explain that to me?
Tennessee is one of the states in our country that has a process for allocating, if you will, healthcare resources to avoid duplication, unnecessary expense, and to ensure that facilities that are approved are viable and have a good chance of being successful. The state has a certificate of need board with a staff, and they're represented from various geographic areas of Tennessee with business people, healthcare people, that sort of thing. And depending on the size of the dollar investment or the nature of the project, you have to have state approval by that certificate of need board to proceed with a project. And as Don said earlier, let me elaborate further. You do have to demonstrate that there is a need for the service, that it's economically viable, and that it is part of the orderly development of healthcare in a particular region. Those are the three criteria.
All
All right.
Has there been any discussion regarding Vanderbilt paying for it?
Because of the nature of the asset, Vanderbilt cannot own, a facility on our campus.
Okay.
It's county property. They cannot own a facility on our campus. We will own it. It will be ours. Vanderbilt will operate it through Monroe Carroll Children's Hospital.
Very good, thank you.
Any other questions? I see none. Ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 111220 as amended, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
21 yes, 2 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 111222, resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to enter into an interlocal agreement with the City of Franklin for the construction of a household hazardous waste facility. Commissioner Hayes? Commissioner Jones, second. Municipal Waste Board,
5-4, 0 against.
Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Hayes.
Yes, as you know, household hazardous waste is one type of waste that we cannot just throw in our everyday and weekly garbage. The state has, in years past, they had a household hazardous waste day that they would come twice a year, and we would have it here at the complex. The state has ceased doing that now, and there is still a need to dispose of those things that are not safe for our environment or safe for our residents, but we have to offer an option to dispose of those. The City of Franklin has applied for a grant in our partnership with us and has received a grant for $250,000. We believe the facility would cost more than that. How much more, we're not sure, because environmentally it has certain standards that it has to meet. The location is certainly more convenient to all of our residents if it's on the city property on Century Court, by their solid waste facility, across from our jail, across from our recycling center. That way it would be equally accessible to all of our county. It would be available to our citizens 5 days a week, I think from like 7 to 3:30. So it'd be very accessible. The agreement here is simply the city gets the grant of $250,000, and then the county agrees to partner equally with the city for any amount up to $100,000 each that it might cost over that. We don't believe it would be that much each, but we wanted to set a max. That way we would have a solid waste, household hazardous waste facility available to our residents year-round, and be a very good environmental safe thing to have.
Thank you, Commissioner Hayes. Commissioner Smith?
A couple of questions. I know from my involvement with the city that there were certain solid waste diversion goals that we were trying to meet as far as the city of Franklin. Does the county operate under those same goals or requirements? And is there a way for this facility, for the county portion, for us to get some credit for the diversion of solid waste, in particular hazardous waste?
The hazardous waste, just the diversion there is just supposed to be total, but there's no division that they say what proportion, because it just is not ever supposed to go in our stream. But there is a division of our where we are supposed to meet certain guidelines for our solid waste plan that we submit every year. Nancy's here. Nancy Zion is here, and I'd like for her to address that question, because we do have a certain amount to meet every year.
diversion?
Commissioner Smith, that's a really good question. I'm not exactly sure what the City of Franklin's goals are. I don't think they're state mandated. We have a 25% reduction rate, and the household hazardous waste does go toward that.
Okay, thank you.
Did you say you had another question, too?
No,
No.
that was it. Thanks.
Thank you, Nancy. Any other questions? Oh, Commissioner Ryan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If this was not approved, let me ask this, are there any other facilities like this within the county?
No, there's not. We would have to stay with the one time a year, the 1 day a year by the state. They support it. If it's not approved, our portion of it, I don't know if City of Franklin's going to be able to do the project.
Very good, thank you.
Commissioner Brockman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So is there a way to get more of this hazardous waste to a facility like this? Because as it is, it's just from residents who are willing to do it?
I really don't know how to answer that. We do advertise our annual event,
Right.
and we've got some other programs in place, what we call BOPA, which is, a lot of people think it's hazardous, but it's not. It's just special waste, batteries, oil, paint, antifreeze, and electronics. So we do advertise that on both of our websites. The City of Franklin does host that site right now, so it'd be something similar to that. But it's, people are not supposed to put it in the waste stream, but
Right. I'm just trying to think of ways so that if it is constructed, we actually are getting the hazardous waste out of the rest of our waste stream.
I personally think that if we do have a permanent facility, that if you build it, they will come.
Okay.
Commissioner Bain?
Call the question.
Question's been called. All in favor of calling the question, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 111222, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
23 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. I'd like to make a comment, Judy, to pass on to somebody. You're talking about they're going to open it from 7 to 3, Monday through Friday. And that's what they've done before, and I think that's very inconvenient. I'd rather see them close Monday and be open Tuesday through Saturday. Saturday would be their biggest day. And I actually think it's an injustice for the average person is not going to go before work to get.
Decided upon, but those were the times that we had understood, and I certainly will pass that on.
Thank you. Resolution 111223, resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to execute a project agreement with the State of Tennessee Department of Transportation for a region-wide intelligent, real-time, ad hoc ride-sharing program. Getting late. Commissioner Williams?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Langston, second. Budget Committee,
5-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Williams.
Is there anyone here from TMA?
Thank you very much. This is a grant that is coming through TDOT, through Williamson County to us. There are no Williamson County funds required. It is an 80-20. The TDOT is providing 80% of it. TMA is providing the match, the 20% match. It is over a 3-year period. It is for the use of a mobility tool. Just to let you all know, just this year alone, we have added through our regional commuter van pool program 9 more vans, which equals to over 100 more participants. So in this day and age of using technology, we are very fortunate to be able to have this grant in order to provide this mobility tool that will do several things. It will increase the number of participants that can be part of the program. It will also simplify the services, the access to these services, and it will also link all these transportation options that are out there, van pool, carpooling, the express bus service that serves us now. So we'll be able to all do that through a smartphone app. And so we anticipate, this is a pilot program, and the result of this is to, or the intent is to launch it in a major economic corridor. And we have one of those called I-65. So it would definitely be a benefit to Williamson County. So do anybody have any questions?
Thank you. Commissioner Jones?
Yes, will this app be across platforms? Do you know if it will be Android, Apple, or is it going to be, do you know?
The intent is for it to be cross-platforms.
Okay.
Commissioner Danner?
I just want to point out, it was missed a couple months ago that this lady gave back money to this county. And I would assume that if this program would do the same, if there was excess in any way, you would return it to the county.
This grant, we wouldn't be able to do that, but what we would do, this grant would allow us to grow the program and have more riders, which in turn was why we were able to give you money back before. So, yes, that's right. Last time I gave you money back, this time I'm not asking for any money. So, any other questions?
Commissioner Ryan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. How many, just out of curiosity, how many local riders do we have in the county?
We have approximately 1,200 regional riders, and a third of those are Williamson County riders.
Okay. And I appreciate you bringing this to the board. It just seems like it's an awfully expensive app if we're talking about 1,200 people for
Well, there are lots of components.
$800,000.
Well, that's 1,200 now. Like I said, we're growing the program. The program will grow. Our regional van pool program is estimated to grow 20% next year alone. And this is a 3-year program. So as I shared with you, I think a few months ago, we are looking at a 15 to 20% growth in the program for the next 3 years. And this will maximize that program even more.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 111223, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
22 yes, 1 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 111224, resolution of the County of Williamson, Tennessee, appropriating an interlocal agreement with the Williamson Medical Center for transportation of persons with mental illness to treatment facilities. Commissioner Hancock?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Chalafant, second. Law Enforcement Committee?
6 in favor, 0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Hancock.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is where the Sheriff's Department has the responsibility to transport these mentally challenged people. They would like to partner through an interlocal agreement with Williamson Medical Center so that they can have the trained personnel and to transport these patients where they might need to go. And in order to do that, they'll have to have an interlocal agreement signed by our mayor that will allow them to do that.
All right. Any questions? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 111224, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
23 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 1226, resolution to permit the serving of alcoholic beverages at the Agricultural Exposition Center for an event of the Pain and Spine Consultants. Commissioner Hancock?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Little, the second. Explanation.
Yes,
Commissioner
Mr.
Hancock.
Chairman, I inherited this because I happen to be close to sign it. But what it does is Pain and Spine Consultants having a Christmas party out there, and they want to serve alcoholic beverages at their hospitality room. This is somewhat routine housekeeping that we have to do anytime someone that's using the facility wishes to have alcohol present.
Commissioner Williams? Oh, I'm sorry, that was my bad. Commissioner Herbert?
Kenny, how many people are we talking about at this event?
About 200, 150, 200.
Have they had this before?
No, this is first time clients.
I guess I'm just a little leery of these groups like that, not knowing the result of what could happen.
Any group who uses our meeting room, of course, are under contract to us. They have to carry additional liquor liability insurance. All that goes through risk management. But this is a new group who approached us. The meeting room was available, so that's why we come before this board for the answer. So it's totally up to this board.
Will there be a deputy on duty or something?
There will be a deputy on duty. We always require anyone who has a hospitality suite to have a deputy.
Follow up? Commissioner Cook?
That's what my question was.
Okay. Any other questions? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of Resolution 11-12-26, push your yes button and confirm. Opposed, your no button and confirm. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Jeff.
18 yes, 2 no, 3 abstain.
18 yes. Resolution passes. If there be no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Much better. Yeah, you always have to find, oh, there's, I think it's right there. Results.